Before we play The Falling Frank, please consider subscribing or following us via the links below. Drop a like and share if you enjoy, and leave a comment with your thoughts on the games. We hope you enjoy the pod.
Hi, I'm Tom.
I'm Matty.
And I'm Lewis.
This is the Wigan Way, Wigan's favourite rugby league podcast.
He'll put you in his trap, 'cause he's a union man. He's got it all figured out. He won't care what you think, 'cause he's a northern man. He's allowed to speak his mind. His
The Wigan Way podcast is brought to you by Cherry and White Pins, a local Wigan Warriors themed pin badge company with a variety of Wigan ranges. You can get free shipping on all orders when you use the code The Wigan Way, that's The Wigan Way, all in capitals, at checkout. Thanks to them for supporting the show.
So, thank you for joining us this week on the Wigan Way. Another episode after another win. I feel like this was a really important win, guys, actually. Maybe not as big as St Helens and Good Friday and then Hull KR, but when you win them two, you've sort of got to win the week after, you know.
It's a good Easter period, isn't it? I know we did this, I think, was it not last year, maybe season before, we went through a really good Easter period, and when we had a dip later on in the season, I remember we reached out to some of the Twitter followers, and one of them said, I think a good Easter period did us well, and I'm hoping it'll be the same again this season, because I think if you'd have said to take 4 points from 6 out of that Easter period, those 3 games, I'd have got your hand off. So if we got 6 out of 6, it's absolutely brilliant, isn't it?
It is. We always used to say that, didn't we, about the Easter period when it used to be Friday, Monday, Sunday.
Yeah.
We used to say that. It still holds true if you can win three games out of 3 over Easter. And 3 tough games as well.
Yeah.
The year you're thinking of was when we started this podcast, and it was Lee away, Saints home, Wire away.
Yeah.
And they were unbeaten at that point, Wire.
Yeah.
Here again, Hull KR away, Saints at home, Hull FC away. Another tough trio of matches.
Well, it's worth pointing out, obviously. We talked before the Hull KR game about the upcoming month. We said we had Hull KR, Saints, FC on Wire. If you're picking your 5-6 hardest games, there are probably 4 of them at the moment.
Especially when you're away in Hull all the time.
Yes.
It's also worth pointing out that the next, I think it's the next 8 games, one of them is at home, and it's the Lee match. I think that's right. Or it might be the next 7 games, one of them's at home, and it's that Lee match in a few weeks. In 2 weeks' time. So, obviously we then get the back end of the year where we have a lot of home games to ride out the season, like we always do. But that May and June is notoriously tricky with all those away games. And so, winning 3 out of 3 over Easter, or 4 out of 4 ideally, if we can get over the line this weekend, when 3 of those games are away from home, and they're against tough teams, you've got to be pleased and think it'll stand you in good stead for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I think that's the point I was trying to make. That if you could have said, listen, them 4, pick 3 wins up, you'd have probably took that. Don't get me wrong, we're Wigan and we want to win every week, but you'd have probably took 3 from 4. Well, we have the chance to actually make it 4 from 4 now, and it's always hardest getting them first 3 wins. And if we'd have lost them 3, you'd be thinking, let's go to Warrington and fix the wrongs of the previous weeks. But it's put us in a really good position now to attack Magic. We then get a week off and we can really rebound for that long run of games away from home.
Yeah, that's then, after Magic is the Lee home, then it's the long run.
So I think this month has been so crucial just to set us up from that. Because it's always possible just to lose a game away from home. And probably not one you would expect either.
Leeds we did already, didn't we?
Yeah.
I know we didn't have some of our players that game, but that's a tough away game. Anytime Leeds.
But it's one of them, how many times have we gone to Wakefield and lost? You know, and just a couple of things happen, a few injuries, a couple of illnesses and things like that. You will lose a game away from home. So to be in this position now just sort of sets us up, in my opinion, to really attack the rest of the season. Shall we have a look at this game then?
Yeah, go on.
So Sunday we played. We were the last game. I can't remember the last time we were like one of the last games to kick off. I remember we played Sunday the week after Vegas, and Warrington kicked off after us. So even then we weren't the last game. So a little bit of a weird one, really. How are you feeling before the game?
I mean, I was confident because we had a couple of big ins, Adam Kieran and Luke Thompson in particular. Were both big ins for us, especially when we've been struggling in the props. Obviously, we've missed Adam with his defence and his goal kicking and whatever, but we've missed Luke because we've
Been missing Mago,
we've had
Dupree.
more props here. So I think they were big players back. Hull FC, clearly a much different team to last year, and we lost this fixture last year, but also a different team than what we played 5, 6, 7 weeks ago, whatever it was that we went to Hull FC last. So I was wary. I'll say that I was wary.
Yeah, I thought the only thing I was kind of wary of really was the fatigue element of it. I thought to go to Hull away, Hull KR away, then be back for a week for play Saints at home, but then have to travel to Hull again. Or like you say, this Easter period, kind of quick consecutive games, 2 of them away in Hull, very far away games. I thought, will that play a part in the game?
Only the good thing was they had a similar thing. They played Hull KR, Warrington away, Hull KR again.
Yeah.
Then so they had quite tricky running it.
Yeah.
It was run up as well.
Is it worth mentioning with that, I suppose? Wigan took a different approach. I remember looking at the Instagrams. We actually travelled to Hull on the Saturday by train.
Yeah, I went the day before.
Yeah. And obviously it's a 3 o'clock kick-off, so you don't have the travel of the day to actually travel and acclimatise once you're there. But I know when we went to Hull KR 2 weeks ago, the team was arriving a few hours before we were. This time, they went on the Saturday, but obviously stayed over at a hotel.
You don't mind it.
No, something different, mixes up your schedule and gives you a little bit more time to prepare and probably settle down, go and get some nice breakfast in the morning and, relax before a game rather than the travel and straight into it.
Yeah, I think it's one of those as well. If it's 3 o'clock and it's Hull, all it takes is if you're travelling by coach, you don't leave yourself a lot of wiggle room for accidents on a motorway or whatever it might be, do you? So just go in.
Oh, you're setting off really early, then you...
That's what I mean, and then
not
obviously that
eating
can
properly
play a
and things
part.
like that.
So I think, going the day before is a good shout, to be fair. It's a 3 o'clock kick-off in the afternoon. Day before is a good shout.
Now, Matty, you mentioned, obviously, Kieran and Thompson's return. We were still missing Mago. Dupree was out with his HIA. And we were sort of discussing the squads in the week. What would you play? Would you play Kieran? Would you play Thompson? How would you do it? A little bit weird, the reserves playing the day before and seeing 4 of the 21. So obviously Farrimond, Forber, Douglas and Kerr were in the first team 21-man squad.
Yeah.
And then played for the reserves the day before. So you were almost 99% certain they weren't going to play.
They're not playing against Hull, yeah.
Weird that, isn't it? It's not often for us that we play the reserves before games. Normally we're playing Friday and Saturday and reserves play Sunday. But it's a bit of a...
It was a bit of a giveaway who was going to be playing on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah. It's not something I like that. Sunday reserves should play on a Sunday. After the
Why do you have to make something wrong with everything?
Because what's the point of naming a 21-man squad and then 4 of them play the day before you know they're just not going to play?
Yeah, but they'd have to play if someone got injured.
Exactly.
Oh. They could, couldn't they?
You have to get played to back up twice. You can just see things going wrong and injuries and things like that.
They used to do it in Australia, didn't they? If you played before the NRL game, and then if there was an injury, you just go straight through. An hour in between, half an hour in between, whatever. Or when Matty Johns was young, the best 2 players used to get a spot on the bench, regardless of position.
But yeah, we're going back 20 years though. We're not talking last 2 years.
It's just interesting though, isn't it?
Yeah. Different time.
It's more than 20 years.
Yeah. Right, should we get into this? Bevan French opens the scoring. A little bit of a kick behind. Harry Smith takes it to the line. And Caesar sort of drops behind the line. It's something you've seen from halfbacks in the last 4 or 5 years. That dropping behind the line and acting as almost a second fullback. Harry Smith does it a lot. French does it a lot to help pick up kicks. But Caesar and Price almost seem to leave it for each other. And
After you clawed, as Bumble would say on the cricket commentary, they like it for each other.
Ball just sits up really nice, as it always seems to do for Bev. And he manages to dive and finish really, really well. You've got to be disappointed if your Hull FC, though, to concede a try like that 5 minutes in.
Easy try to stop, isn't it? Just put a name on it. I know, to be fair, people know we said we was watching it, it's full-backs ball every day at week, but I think actually when you're watching on replay, it actually looks like it's going straight into Caesar's arms and he just kind of leaves it. So it's a bit of a weird one, that one, really. But yeah, miscommunication and easy try to concede, really, in the first 5 minutes in front of your home fans. It's not very good for Hull FC.
I think I'd be disappointed conceding that if you conceded in the first 5 minutes. If you conceded after 65 and there's fatigue and there's loads of things going on, almost, but the first 5 minutes you can't let the scoring open like that. No.
Yeah.
Not even after a good start in a big game.
So French scores really, really well.
We then
Really good
immediately
finish.
threw Will Price in touch. And this has been...
We did that a couple of times this game, didn't we?
It's been mentioned again because obviously Wigan are apparently the only team that do it, where you drag the attacker into touch. And it's clearly within the rules.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to change the rules, but as they stand right now, you're allowed to do it. That's why it's not getting penalised.
We were watching the game and the commentary wasn't great on this. I was really annoyed at the
Well,
commentary.
they were desperate for Hull to win.
Yeah.
You
I was
can
really
tell that.
annoyed at the commentaries, suggesting that we were breaking rules and it shouldn't be a part of the game. And I think one of the commentary lines was, it just doesn't look right, but it is legal. And why are you criticising the team doing something within the rules? They're not dragging, which is illegal. You can't drag someone into touch. And the holding, they're not grounding a player, the tackle's not complete. There's nothing wrong with it.
It's good defence. It's not only Wardle who's fantastic at it, not letting the opponent find the floor, keeping them held up, and then the team come in and they all work together to drag them over the sideline. I think it's fantastically coached. I think it's really good athleticism. It's something that should be praised, really. It's fantastic defence.
It's not like we're tackling a guy, picking him up, carrying him on our shoulders and dumping him off. It's not. It's actually pushing a guy out into touch. You're allowed to do it. If you go out wide against Wigan, you know that's an opportunity, that they're going to have that opportunity to push you into touch. You've got to be quick. You've got to get to ground.
The other thing I'd say about that, you're exactly right, is when players don't contest the tackle and they sort of just want to go into it and drop to the floor and play the ball.
Yeah.
That Wigan see that and hold him up almost. Jake Wardle, perfect at it, but holding a player up.
The best example was last year when Thompson held up, I can't remember which Salford player it was, and put them back over the line, when we scored off that dropout.
Was it Mago that lifted him up and Thompson nailed him?
Thompson kept him up and then we just joined the tackle and that was off a kick chase, so it's just effort areas, isn't it? If you want it a bit more than the opposition, you can do this.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's that contesting every tackle. If you don't
I mean, you
try
moan
and win a
all
wrestle...
you want. They did it to Kieran in the same game.
Yeah.
So, moan all you want. Everyone's guilty of it.
Yeah. Hull FC score. 6 minutes later, Will Price, good hands, Amir Burra, through the line to Caesar, and Will Price throws the dummy and slides in.
Yeah.
A little bit of confusion between Kieran and Miski. Maybe
a bit of miscommunication. You never know if it's the inside pressure or whatever. It looked like there was a bit of a 3-on-2 and Kieran bites in, which is, that happens all the time.
It's his first game back in a while as well, and he's still heavily strapped up, so Will Price is a quick player for trying to actually get out the slide over in time to stop him. It's difficult, isn't it? It was
a well executed try, I would say.
Yeah.
5 minutes later, Wigan make it 12 points to 6 through field.
Come on in. Bert just decided to join us there. We've got a 4-person podcast this week.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Field scores, good hands, O'Neill through the line. But the one thing I want to talk about is this ended up being a big talking point, was the video ref time.
Yeah.
Now, I watched it live and I thought, maybe an obstruction. When you sort of catch it in full speed.
Well, there is contact, isn't there?
Yeah.
I think whenever there's contact, you kind of go, we could be in a bit of trouble here.
Yeah. And I watched it on the first replay. Bear in mind this was sent up as a try. And the first replay clearly shows that Tom Briscoe makes a defensive decision to try and...
You know who knows that? Tom Briscoe. He doesn't even claim.
No,
He doesn't claim
doesn't
obstruction.
complain,
He
does
doesn't complain. He knows he's made the wrong call.
But this is where I just look at the NRL system and just think, if a ref gives try, he just checks it over. No one says a thing. There was nothing to actually check. You can see it on the first replay.
You might go, was that obstruction? Oh, no, it wasn't.
Yeah,
Never mind.
and you watch a replay, you go, yeah, let's move on. And no one even bats an eyelid that they didn't review it. Instead, we spend best part of 3 minutes on this one, looking at whether Briscoe...
Most of my life, I think, was waiting.
And we actually commented while we were listening to it that it sounded like he wanted to overturn it.
Yeah.
When he was talking, he was saying, Wardle's made contact with Briscoe. And we were like screaming at the TV. We couldn't go to this game, but we were screaming, going, Briscoe shot out the line and made a defensive read. And then at the very last second, he just changed his mind, Thaler, and gave try. I was amazed to see how it got to that conclusion.
It's not the first time I want to talk about refereeing this week.
But in particular, video refereeing.
Yeah.
But,
So
refereeing as well in general.
it is, but fair play to Thaler, because I think it's very easy, isn't it? Whenever there's contact with the defender and someone in the line for the attacking team, I think it's very easy to score. There is contact, he stops him making a legitimate effort to make a tackle. It's a no try. It's the easy decision to give, because when there's contact, you can almost say, well, there is contact, so the referee, I can see why he's give it, but he makes the right decision in the end.
We saw that last week, didn't we? Where Smith's try was chalked off.
Yeah. So he gives the right decision in the end. It does take him a while to get there, but
if we get correct decisions, can't be too complaining. You got to get the right decision right. That's the important thing, isn't it?
So Harvey Barron then makes it 12 apiece. Now, I think Matty Pete and the lads would be a little bit annoyed that it was going try for try and we weren't getting into long spells of defensive, really good defence, which is something we praise by and we live by. But it wasn't from a kick, and it's a really difficult kick to deal with for Marshall, because it's so flat that Caesar hits it. It's not really massive for a time.
I'm going to assume he's onside though. I can't see it coming on there.
No. But it's such a flat kick, and almost from a position that doesn't look like he's going to crossfield kick it. And Harvey Barron's a big lad. Was it his first game back since he got injured against us?
I think he might have played last week.
But he wins the ball, and
it's a good take in the air, to be fair.
yeah,
He's got two hands over his head, possibly leaning back, and just pinches it out the air.
Them are ones you practice, aren't they? You practice those, got to get them right.
yeah. So that's 12-12 in the 30th minute or so. And then we start to see a little bit of magic from Bevan French.
Yeah.
Dazzling feet. Just manages to miss about 5 tacklers. I'm running out of words to describe this one.
He's not even been at his absolute fluent best this year. Look, I don't want him to be yet.
How many try involvements is he on? I think he said 6 tries and 8 try assists or something like that.
That's just in the league. He's played 2 cup games as well and been involved in both of them. He's had his hands all over everything we've done. And yet he's still, every time I watch him, the best player in Super League. And the most influential player in Super League, most valuable player in Super League, whatever you want to call it, it's him.
But I'm going to ask you something. Are you watching him thinking, I'm still watching going, there's more here?
Yeah.
And I think when July, August, September comes, and he's fully hitting the ground.
But it's not just that. I mean, someone mentioned it on Twitter this week. That it's not just that he does. He aims up and hits hard in defence. He kick chases. He's always sliding defence. All the tough stuff. He's so good at.
He does that tough stuff in big moments as well.
Yeah, he does.
Like, you might argue his kick chase, he doesn't do it all the time. When you need a big tackle.
But when he puts that kick into the corner and sprints up and chases it, pins him 5 and 5,
for me, his rugby brain is definitely getting better. From the live wire fullback that we saw.
I'm not even sure it's just rugby brain stuff. I think it's just effort areas.
Yeah.
Like, for a player like Bevan French, you could be forgiven for not doing the 1%ers, but he still does.
What's the turn of phrase? Hard work beats talent when talent's not working hard.
Yeah.
Well, he does both, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's got bags and bags of talent, but you can't take away from him. He's not one of those who's got talent, but he's a bit lazy, or You know, he's only got talent when things are going his way and doesn't want to do the hard stuff. Like you said, he's the first person on kick chases. When he puts his own kick in, he's always sprinting up for put a one-on-one tackling with the fullback. If you watch that, like you said, he shots up hard in defence.
There's something about Wigan's big players that they step up when it matters, and in big moments in matches, they pull out 1%ers.
They're all 1% players. They're all effort area players.
That's Wigan culture, isn't it? No matter how much talent you had, Sam Tompkins had bags and bags of talent.
Perfect example.
But he works hard and was the ultimate competitor. Bevan French has got talent, but he works hard. He's the ultimate competitor. You don't get through in Wigan without having those 1%ers. First.
Harry Smith, Cade Ellis.
It's weird things for me, and I saw it again a couple of times in this game. Abbas Miski, coming off his right wing on the last tackle and coming into centre field to kick chase when we want to pin a team in the corner.
Pin a team in the corner, yeah.
And he gets ahead of the play so he can't make a pass. And no one would ever ask him to do that. But it just helps you pin a team. Things that people don't realise matter so much.
Yeah.
And obviously, when you're a player like Bevan French, you do the magical things that he does, and he's beat 5 players here and gone 30 yards, tried to find a pass inside, which Miski's collected and took the tackle. And we can do what we can do. Go right to left, switch it really well. Ellis to field. Well, he tries to find field. Hits December.
He gets smashed, actually, after he's passed it, which if December didn't score, we might have got a penalty for that. But
it wouldn't have been a penalty, he got up.
He's
down nowadays.
He's playing for Wigan, so it wouldn't have been a penalty. That's my mistake. But good work from December to get through 3, 4, 5 tacklers.
This is good, this, isn't it? That's just raw power, isn't it?
Yeah.
Athleticism. Powerful, stepping, really good strength in the legs, getting over, shifting off tackles. I think it was better through 5 players to score that try. Shakes
and
off
he carried
5.
Herman SASA.
Herman SASA, I saw Hardaker in the...
Briscoe.
So good defenders. Well, not maybe
but seasoned professionals. He's not going past a young lad who's made a bad read.
Well, Hardaker's a pretty decent defender, isn't he? And, you know, Borough, Asiata, if he was involved there in the middle of the park, decent defenders at Herman SASA.
So, that's 18 points to 12, 2 minutes. Obviously, we scored with about 5-6 minutes to go before half time. Another try here was the killer. Smith to French, and French just such clever hands.
Little double pump, isn't there?
Yeah, the big pass.
Does one thing, bring the winger in, and then as the winger comes in, just soft, nice hands to the centre, who can just stroll over now because the winger's coming on him.
It's almost like he drops it behind him. He lets him go past him, and then just drops it behind. Brilliant work from French. Another video ref. I forgot this one had gone to video ref for another potential obstruction.
They all went to video ref, all ours.
Was given a try, no obstruction, very clear. Jake Wardle strolls in, and that's half time.
Yeah, big moment just before half time. Score 2 tries like that, get it to 22.
We talked about it before, and it is worth mentioning. Things like that, tries before half time. If you're John Cartwright going in and you're 1 try down, you think you're still in the game, score next, it's even money. Instead, now Cartwright's conversation is if we concede next,
game's over.
3 tries. And
we
come out again with
next
intent.
score was very crucial.
It is important to mention we come out with some real intent after half time. It's a common theme of ours. Again, left to right, Leeming to French to Field, who just skips past, gives Kieran a nice ball, who then little flick pass out to Abbas Miski.
And a nice in and out move to put on the centre to even get himself in the position to flick pass it to Miski.
Yeah. Miski dives in.
Yeah.
What did you think immediately?
Well, I thought what I always think, which is, if he's got that down, it's an outrageous finish.
Yeah.
Which I always think about Miski.
So I'm going to be honest, my immediate thought was, he might be lied on top of the winger here.
Yeah.
And actually be off the ground because there's someone underneath him, rather than if the defender wasn't there, for example, he would have landed in touch.
Yeah, you called that straight away, didn't you?
That was actually a good eye from you when you saw it straight away and said, I think he's on top of the winger.
Yeah.
And I went, he probably got some part of him touching the ground though.
Yeah, I still assumed that his foot was going to clip touch or his toe was going to be over the line or something like that. But obviously, wasn't Marcus Smith, it was Jack Smith, who sent it up as no try. I have no problem with sending it up as no try.
100%. I didn't see why he sent it up as no try. I got no
I
problem.
don't even
with
think Miski thought he scored.
No,
He
I-
didn't seem to be jumping
Kieran
up
thought
and
he
down.
scored. Well, whether he was trying to kid the ref, I don't know. But Kieran celebrated and said, and actually pointed to say he was up in the air. But I think Miski was unsure.
You can't know in that circumstance,
yeah.
can you?
I actually feel sorry a bit for that whole defender, in a weird way.
He's tried. Actually,
He's done the urge stuff.
He's done a
He's
good
actually got him in touch. Just the fact that he's underneath him, he's actually holding Miski up. It's just that Miski's landed on him. But he has actually put a good tackle and put him in touch. It's just the fact that Miski's on top of him. He's not actually hit the floor, so he's not counted as in touch.
What I say about this is normally you see someone, the winger diving, and someone's coming across trying to shove them in touch.
Yeah, or not the arm or something.
He was almost in front of him when this happens, so it's a bit like a one-on-one tackle rather than a dive for the corner. And he's almost can't get out the way. He'd rather be coming from the side to have a push at him.
I'm taking nothing away from Miski.
That's a
It
great
was an
finish.
incredible finish. I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but
There's an element of fortune there.
Yeah.
You make your own look when you've got
You
such
do.
a powerful, good finisher. I mean, the tricky enough skill, with no defender there, is reaching out and keeping control with one hand and putting it on the perfect last blade of grass. To then do that when there's a defender clattering you, that's the skill there.
yeah,
And yeah, he's got a good slice of luck in there, but that's an unbelievable effort.
yeah, it is.
It did, I mean, when I was talking about how long it took.
What was it? Someone said it was 5 minutes.
5 minutes, I think, yeah.
Now we were watching the replay, and they showed it from the angle of the in goal, and we went, well, you can't tell. But immediately you couldn't tell from that angle. You could see that he grounded it clearly, so you got to see if he's in the field of play. Then showed you the angle almost from like the touch judge's position, and after 3 replays, we knew that it was a try.
Well, we were pretty sure it was a try, but you needed to marry up the two frames, and I think that's what he was trying to do, but he couldn't. The technology clearly wasn't there. I remember this used to be a thing, where they used to either split screen it, or they used to say, right, pause it there, the ball's down, now let me see the other side, at the exact same moment, to see if his feet are up. I'm sure we used to be able to do that.
Yeah, so why did it take
So why when he kept asking for that, video ref kept asking specifically for that, he kept saying, can I see the reverse at the exact same time?
Can we flip it? Can
And
we flip the camera?
And they kept starting it again.
I will say that the thing that actually ends up making it being given a try is the fact that 2 or 3 frames later,
You can see the ball
you
down.
can still see the ball down.
Which was a stroke of luck, really. Because he kept asking for this, which would have
And
told him the truth. This, what he was asking for, would have told him straight away if it was a try or not. And it kept starting again.
I wonder whether it's a technology thing or the fact that it's just not been done for
I
so
feel
long.
bad for him because he's getting stick there, and actually, I don't think it was all his fault. He should have had the correct technology.
Yeah.
And I said it a few weeks ago. The technology is still, when we've had video refs for 20 odd years, it's letting the video ref down. It shouldn't take this long when he was asking for the thing that would have told him the truth. And
Yeah,
they weren't
he
giving
knew
it-
what he wanted straight away to make that decision, didn't he?
But he couldn't see it because the angles were wrong and it kept restarting.
Yeah.
You know, it's annoying, isn't it, when it's like that?
Yeah, massively annoying. Given?
Yeah.
26 points to 12. And something that we've actually talked about again on the podcast before, but showing our threat from deep here, not in the usual conventional way. And we did have a joke about it during the game that every time there was a knock on, it seemed to be just give it to Fields and see if something happened. This time, Hull FC go through the hands, and there's a little bit of a loose pass that finds Liam Farrell. And most people just drop to the floor and take the tackle and just take possession back. Wigan don't seem to do that.
I'm going to give Farrell some credit here.
He fights.
Left foot fend, fights out to the tackle and gives it to one of his pacemen.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And you got to give French credit, again, pushing up. Farrell might not have been able to find a pass. He might have just made that 1% effort for no reason. But because Farrell's fought and not just gone to ground, finds the offload, and Bevan French, you could argue that he's now a 6 rather than the whipping fullback that he was.
When he got this ball, you know, if this is Jay Field catching this ball, you might as well all just go to the centre of the pitch there because it's a try. With it being Bevan, I thought, I wonder if he can still do this. Because they've got some nippers, haven't they?
Yeah, some pace. And
They've got some pace in their team, and he had enough, didn't he?
he had enough, and he had more than enough. But there is something I wanted to mention. Look at where Field is.
Yeah, and he's actually...
Field was 10 yards behind the player.
Yeah, and he's give up at that point as well.
And
He gives up on halfway. If you look at the reverse angle, you can see when he decides he doesn't need to run anymore.
But if French gets tackled, we've immediately got someone there at the play of the ball
Yeah.
who's going to back himself to score.
You can see he gives up there. When French gets to about 30, he gives up because he knows it's a try. It's not quite when... I remember Field scoring one and French got the ball facing the south stand. We were attacking the north end.
Yeah.
And he got the ball, as soon as against Salford, he got the ball facing the south stand off an error, passed it to Field and just raised his arms. And Field caught the ball on his own try line. And French had his arms up in the air and Field ran round him and scored. It wasn't quite that, but it was pretty close. You're thinking this is a try.
Yeah.
When it's off the back of an error like this.
But that's it, though. It's that 1%. If French gets caught, we score on the next play. And there's 4 or 5 other lads who are getting into shape on the left-hand side, ready to convert, really. That takes it 32 points to 12. And a couple of things do happen. Smith kick. We talk about throwing people in touch and that wrestle and that competition. That's actually what Wardle's trying to do here. He's allowed Barron to catch the ball, grips him, holds him up like a bear hug, and he's trying to throw him into touch.
Why wouldn't you kick it here? They have to catch it. They can't let you catch it. They can't let Wardle catch this with all the bodies around.
No.
Catch it and try and throw him in touch. What he has to do, Barron, is catch it and fall over.
But it's actually, we've always talked about that 5-and-5 box kick. This is probably 10-and-10 if we're being honest.
But it's perfect because the absolute best thing he can do is catch it and fall over.
Yeah.
And then bring it out to that corner then.
Exactly.
Because that's the only situation that leads to them keeping the ball is him catching it and falling over.
And what's the worst case for Wigan here?
He
gets tackled.
That is the worst case for him.
He gets tackled. We either throw him in touch.
Unless we're offside.
Yeah, which would be stupid and I'd be really annoyed at us, but we either throw him in touch, he makes a mistake trying to stay in the field of play, which is what he does, and the ball goes to December and December scores. But this is just so important, and even 32-12 up, 20-point lead, just sticking to the game plan of just turning the ball over, bring it out from 90 metres out, and it's brought a try through. I really love that kick because it's just an effort play. Yeah. All of it is just effort that gets that try.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
32 points.
Junior gets his second of the game.
Yeah. I was going to talk about the fact that it's a mile forward.
It's
just the
definitely forward.
offload back on the inside, is it, to Junior?
Yeah.
It's definitely forward, but that's the thing, isn't it, with the game? Everyone knows you can't judge a forward pass.
On the video ref.
Yeah. So I thought immediately it's no try because it was forward.
He actually says, the video ref actually says, I can't judge on anything else, which in my head made me think he knows it's forward.
He knows it's forward.
He can't judge it's forward.
Yeah. And it was forward. Let's be honest, it was
forward. We didn't deserve to have these points.
But the moment it went up, I knew it had to be given as a try. Now, I do understand the logic behind not being able to view forward passes.
Yeah. I would challenge that by saying if the ball bounced and Junior caught it on the bounce,
it would have been given as a knock-on.
It would have been given as a knock-on, which is that
even though it was still a pass.
You're essentially judging on the same thing there.
Yeah, which is really
because it's not where the ball bounces, is it? It's where it travels in relation.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So that's it. It's 36 points to 12. There was one more talking point here. Yellow card for Liam Knight.
Yes.
Shoulder to the head. But it was then given as late contact. I thought it was shoulder to the head at the time.
Was it to the head? I think if it was to the head, he would have seen red because that round. Because Smith would be dead. No. Because it was after the ball had gone and there was no arm wrap. So I think if it was hitting him in the head, I think he would have been sent off. I think he hits him in the shoulder, which saves him.
Rockets his head back.
Yeah, he rockets the head back.
To use an old phrase they used to use, flexion of the neck.
So it is a yellow because he's done 2 of the 3 bad things.
I'm sorry. That's such a saying from like mid 2010s.
Remember that?
We've seen flexion of the neck.
Flexion of the neck.
After somebody's passed it, there's flexion of the neck.
There's flexion of. There was to stop late hits on passes, wasn't it?
They used to send people for 10 minutes
because they needed to be done before.
I'm just going to say we went through. Isn't it mad that we went through a spell were like, so you look back at the game since we've been watching. There was the chicken wing, then there was the cannonball, then there was the late hit on thing.
Yeah, all getting 10 minutes. But you don't do those things anymore.
I can't remember the last time
Exactly.
I saw a cannonball.
So it works.
Yeah, and you just go hard for 2
It might
3
take a
years.
while for the players to work it out, but it works eventually.
And actually, no one thinks, "Oh, I miss when you used to be able to chicken wing people." Like,
No. The one thing people do miss is the shoulder charge, because Sonny Bill used to be a great proponent of it. But
you can still make big tackles,
you can still make big shots without shoulder charging people.
but you still use your shoulder. You just throw some effort into wrapping him up and not hit him in the head.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think the reason he didn't hit him in the head was why he didn't get sent off. He only got 10 minutes, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with that being 10 minutes. It's late, no arm wrap, and there's flexion of the neck. There should be 10 minutes.
Now, I'm going to say this while we'll talk about it. We're going to talk about a lot about refereeing yellow cards and red cards in
Head
the
hard, just
Round the
tackles. Yeah.
Are we happy with the Liam Knight one being a yellow card?
Yeah.
I think so.
So I think that's a fair level to draw it at.
Good call from Smith on this one.
Yeah, good call. Good use of the video ref. The video ref checked it. He said, no, that's fine. But when we go around the grounds and we talk about the other ones, I think it's going to be worth comparing it back to this as a right decision.
Do you think that because Smith was going to give this anyway, and the video ref said, yeah, you're right, yellow card, or whatever he said, do we think that makes us look more favourably on it than when the referee misses it completely and says, tackle 2, play the ball, and then it gets given as a yellow?
I don't want to go back to old games, but we'll go back to the Embar one against Eckersley at Good Friday. He told Eckersley to get up.
Then he
Play
said
the
form
ball.
scrum.
Then he said form a scrum. Then he went, oh no, it's a yellow card.
Yeah.
Now I think that's a red card. I think 1-on-1, direct shoulder to the head.
Yeah.
I think that should be a red card. But I don't think you can say, and this is what you're talking about, play on, form a scrum. Basically admit he's not seen it.
Yeah.
And then red card someone.
Like you just look incompetent, essentially.
Yeah, the Cuss one against Hull KR,
He spotted
he
it.
spotted it straight away, that's why he gets red.
Maybe you're right there. Maybe you're
I
right.
think it's very hard to miss something completely live
And then give it a red
and
card.
then retrospectively
Well,
give
they
it
did
red.
a couple though in the Leeds game, which we'll talk about when we go around the grounds.
Yeah.
I think one of them he spotted, but yeah, I know what you mean. This one he got right.
Yeah. Couple of key stats again. Miskey and Marshall showing their use, running for 310 metres between them. Bevan French ran 187, but he did have 2 breakaway Alfawzi's try 80 metres.
80 at least,
something
yeah.
like that.
And then he had a 30 metre break.
80 at least.
Liam Farrell, 12 carries for 103 metres. He's coming for a little bit of stick recently, but showing his use again with another 40 tackles.
Yep, skipper.
And yeah, something we didn't mention before this game. In fact, sorry, I've just seen another stat I'm going to mention. Sam Walters again.
Oh, was he another big game for him, wasn't
Just the 42 tackles and 125 metres.
it? How many misses?
I'm going to have to check because I can't remember. 2.
2 misses. So another good.
How rubbish from Sam Walters. One thing I was going to mention was, in this game we did see Brad O'Neill return to the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Do you think that's just been a case of building him up over the last few weeks?
I think so. I think the plan is to have O'Neill starting and leaving off the bench. I think that's when we're at our best.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, Mago's obviously not played today. Mago probably supports Lehman's style of play. They probably suit each other really well.
I think Walters does when he comes off the bench.
Yeah.
I think those three coming on together are quite good, but obviously Walters has been doing well starting games recently.
Right. Something worth talking about. Matty Pete has come under for a little bit of stick for his, I think it was described as prickly interview, where he
Brickley, I'd describe it as
unhappy.
unhappy, but because he's been gallant for 2 years and seen what's happened, and he's bitten his tongue for 2 years and a half, and now he's finally saying what he thinks.
Yeah. We're going to mention it. Penalty counts. Got one word, Mr. Chairman. Penalty counts. Wigan have given away, as of 2 weeks ago, I've not got the exact up-to-date stats here, the full ones, but
But he still will be very low down.
we had given the least penalties away.
Fewest.
Fewest penalties away
Probably
in Super League.
Pedantic about it. I'm going to get the English right here. Don't want any English teachers on our back.
Oh,
You know
I
what
can't
they're
do English, mate.
You know what they're like, English teachers.
Yeah. Wigan had given away the fewest penalties, but then also received
By a mile.
the fewest.
So we'd lost every single penalty count,
We'd lost every penalty count.
Yeah.
Scores like 3-2.
which tells you that teams who give away lots of penalties usually give away none against Wigan.
Yeah,
which is
squeaky clean against us.
which we worked out that is true.
We saw that I just picked the Salford game, for example. Salford were averaging 9 penalties a game conceded. They give 2 away against us.
Like, look at this game. We won by 24?
24 points.
24 points. We made 400 more metres. We made far more clean breaks,
We completed 28 sets compared to 22.
and yet we lost the penalty count 9-4. And at least 2 of those penalties I remember for being offside when somebody in front of the guy who knocks on picks it up. So really, we've only got 2 penalties.
That's like technical penalties.
There's
isn't it?
2 technical penalties in that 4. And I know one of ours was like that, I think.
Yeah.
But 9-4, when you've made 400 more metres, 3 more clean breaks, you've won by 24 points.
And completed 6 more sets.
I just completed 6 more sets. That doesn't make sense.
So let's just run through the stats here. We've only got a select couple of teams because I've looked. Someone else has been keeping track of these stats. Catalan this season have received 59 penalties. What round are we in? Sorry, round 7,
We've
8?
had 9 games, I think. Yeah, we've had 9 games.
9.
We're a third of the way through the season. Can you believe that?
Well, so 9 games.
Yeah,
Catalan have received 59.
It's 6 and a bit.
Hull FC have received 58. Warrington 51, Saints 49, Hull KR 49, Leeds 48. So that's 6 big teams.
What would you say is average penalties in a game? 5?
I would say 7, me.
7? Right, okay.
3 or 4 and a half.
Well, these are
One
all
every
getting these are all getting less than 7 then. Because 7 penalties a game, that would be 63. So say 6 is your average.
Yeah.
Split the difference. Say 6 is your average. You'd be expecting
3 and a half, yeah. 1 every 10 minutes.
Well, you'd be expecting 54 penalties, roughly. And you'd expect it to fluctuate around that.
Yeah.
You'd expect it to probably be 54 for the big teams, 50, 48, whatever, for the teams that have lost lots of games.
Yeah.
And then if you're Huddersfield who haven't won a single game, you'd be even lower than that.
I don't want to be funny. That is the way that it should be. The more games you win by bigger margins, you should be getting more penalties because you've got more ball.
When you're on top, you get more ball, you get more penalties. That's how it usually goes.
Wigan, in 9 games, have got 26. That is less than 3 penalties a game.
Yeah.
Why are our games being officiated differently?
Well, because
Is it an element... so I'm going to throw a couple of things out. Is it an element of we actually don't stay down? Cade Ellis
No.
got hit off the ball today
No.
and didn't stay down.
I don't think that's the reason, because we have stayed down in the past and it's been the same.
Is it an element of Wigan play so fast and up there that we shouldn't be stopping the game and refs think they don't want to get involved in stopping the game?
I think that's what it is.
And because Wigan play at such a quality and I don't want to be funny, that talk about the NRL.
That's why our numbers are low. I don't want to just be all one-sided on this. That's why our numbers are low for what we've given away. I know it was weird in this game. We gave away 9, which doesn't make sense. But usually we've got low numbers given away. I think we do push it. I think we probably should be penalised more. If I'm looking at the way the other teams are refereed, we should be penalised more. But our opponents should be definitely penalised more. You think about the first game against Lee. If that game was reffed like the... How many games have we had since then? 50-odd games since then it doesn't finish 1-0. It can't do.
No. Someone takes 2.
It can't do.
What was the penalty count that day? Like 1-0?
It was ridiculous. And there was so much lying on from both teams that it dragged out.
This is the thing, isn't it? Like, we can't... You can't be sat here saying, like, games should not be getting reffed differently.
Based on who's playing.
But
Yeah,
they always
it's
do.
gotta be-
We always said the playoffs get reffed differently because you can have 2 teams that you can trust to have an open flowing game. And yet we're now seeing that in the regular season where when certain teams play, there are fewer penalties given. Well, when one team plays, there's fewer penalties
But it
given.
can't be that because it's only us.
Well, us and Huddersfield.
And Huddersfield shouldn't be getting penalties. They get beat every week.
Yeah.
Well, I'm being rude to them, but they're not winning games. They don't have good field position.
So
We're not even getting 6 agains though.
So,
We lost the 6 again count.
so what do you think the answer is then?
Start officiating every game the same. If every game was officiated the way that Wigan games are, most Wigan games would be fine, but the quality of the league would drop in other games because
Yeah.
the lower teams, unfortunately, can't keep up with that speed. And you just bring more knock-ons, more errors, blah, blah, blah. But the league should be officiated the same way.
You can't ref. Lewis is right. You can't ref games differently depending on who's playing.
No.
You can maybe, when you get to the playoffs, ref all the playoff games differently.
Yeah.
Finals, whatever. But you can't be refing in regular season rounds. You can't be refing one game where you're giving away 25 penalties and an almost identical game where you're giving away 3.
It's just not right. And you see it. You even see it in the NRL though. They referee Origin a little bit differently, and then they penalise more in the league games. No one's got an issue with that.
No.
But for regular round games, this stat just
And
can't carry on.
I think now is the time to say it because we've won 4 games in a row.
Yeah.
And we've won all 4 of them. Maybe Hull KR, there was a bit of jeopardy.
Yeah.
Maybe Saints, they had a good 10 minutes. But really, we beat Salford from whistle to whistle. We beat Hull FC this game from whistle to whistle, really. So this is now is the time to say it because you can't say we're making excuses because why would we make excuses? We've won all 4 games quite easily.
It'd be easy for Matty Peake to just ignore this problem until we lose a game and then go, we've not won a penalty count for 6 games. Well, 9. But
Yeah, well, if you include the cup games, I'm sure it was
Yeah.
11. But yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm glad Matty Peake said something.
Well, while we've just won 4 games in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the right time, wasn't it?
But we also look, I don't know, it's funny, we're getting a little bit ahead. Brad Arthur and Burgess have been in the papers, the reports last week about talking to refs and whatever. And they're doing it from a position that they're losing games. And it looks a little bit like sour grapes.
Yeah, and don't forget Arthur did it while his side had been given the most penalties in the league.
Yeah.
When he come in barging into the, talking to the ref about penalty count.
Yeah. Right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we've got the news and things that have caught your eye, Matty. Matty, you've been having a look around and around the world of rugby league. What's caught your eye, pal?
Yeah, well, we'll see in a minute. First thing that caught my eye was Penrith being bottom. Penrith bottom after how many games? 8 games, whatever. You wouldn't have thought that would happen. They've won 1 game in Vegas. Then they won against the Roosters last week. But, yeah, bottom of the league, Penrith.
It's a weird one, isn't it? I know they've lost a couple of players. They've lost Luai and Taruva, and they've lost Kikau in years gone by, and Coruscant and Crichton and what's the centre called?
The list goes on.
Oh, Kikau was what I was thinking of. They haven't had that many injuries this year. I know Edwards has missed a couple of games and whatever, but the side that we saw win in Vegas, to then say you would only win 1 game when you got home, it's a
He
bit,
played pretty well in Vegas.
mad, really, isn't it?
Talk about a hangover from Vegas.
Yeah, it's still going on for them.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and in this case it's winning
games.
rugby league matches.
It's a good job they beat the Roosters, I'll tell you that. So it's interesting, they're 2 points adrift at the bottom. Their points difference is minus 27. And the next lowest is the Eel, to quote Gus Gould, whose is 170 something. It's like ridiculously big gap between the 2 points difference. So they're losing close when they lose.
And then winning big when they win.
And winning big when they win.
Mad, I'm just going to say this. If Wigan were in this position, could you imagine the outcry for people to be sacked?
Well, on the Wigan Warriors fan supporters group on Facebook, maybe not anybody with any half a brain who listens to this podcast, because we would not be saying that.
4 years of being the best team in the world.
I mean,
behind us.
I have spoken to people before about this, and somebody at the club actually mentioned to us that even though it's going so well, Matty still knows that it's a results business, and if you lose 8 in a row, you could get sacked. Like that's possible. But
Yeah.
I don't know if Ivan Clear has got this God status now, though, that like even if he loses 18 in a row, he won't get sacked.
I don't think you can win 4 premierships in a row. Listen, he might walk away from it and say he's just not got the energy to go again.
He's not got it. maybe.
And he's been burnt out.
I'll tell you what, watch out if they sneak into 8 though. If they backdoor into these playoffs,
Somehow sneak in and then they've got Cleary flying.
watch out. So Penrith bottom.
Yeah.
My second eye catcher is these two lads from Brisbane. One's a Brisbane supporter, one supports Cowboys, who made it their mission to watch every single match in a round of NRL fixtures
Live.
live. That's not Magic Round. And they did it last week. Now, it involved a lot of money, a lot of creative planning, but they did it. They only watched, I think, all the way through 2 games. There was one game where they just watched them kick off and then left immediately. So whether you can count that as watching the game, I don't know. But
Well, they were at the game.
they were at the game. They basically went to a game at Manly, where they watched Manly. I think it was Manly against Melbourne. They basically watched it until Manly thought Manly couldn't win. Then rushed over to the next game and watched all that. So
I thought it funny. How fun would that couple of weeks be once the fixtures have come
when
out?
you thought you'd got it,
And you sat round with all your mates at a table, going, "We could target round 14."
but it's the one that I was mentioning where they watched just the stars of it. That was like the second game in Sydney. They had to get back to Brisbane, so they had to. Well, they watched the kickoff through the window of like the concourse, then sprinted off. They booked the Uber for kickoff, so they'd gone. They got into the flight with 3 minutes before boarding opened, so it's pretty good timing.
yeah.
Then I think one of the guys' wives met him at the Brisbane airport and drove him to the next match. Just brilliant story, man.
Could you imagine doing that here? We'd organise that and then they'd move a game to Friday 8 o'clock when someone's already
There'd be
played.
a crash on the M62.
Go on, Matthew. What else caught your eye?
The last thing that caught my eye is not from Australia. It's not even from the world of rugby league, actually. I had a look over on the dark side because I was interested in watching Christian Wade this week. So I had a look because I saw that Gloucester had won 79 something. They scored a whole bunch of points, 79-10 or something. And I thought, oh, Wade must have scored. He did. He scored a try. He finished it off. It was a nice move, he finished it off. But he also set up a try with some good hands. But it's not that I want to talk about. I want to talk about his stat line because we always talk about rugby union, talk about wingers never doing anything, never getting the ball. We talk about people not making any hard yards. The hard-earned index, as we would say, would be low for rugby union. But Wade's a winger. Now, he made 15 carries, 92 metres, and he didn't score a length of the fielder.
And you got to remember with that as well. Obviously, there's not the depth of defender. So he made 92 metres though without the 10 metre gap.
without 10 metre
yeah.
gap, yeah.
Yeah, in Union, this defensive line stands at the ruck, so
That was the most on. That was the most in the game. He made the most meters. Couple of offloads, a few kicks, which I think is when they drop back and catch it, just kick it immediately straight back to the opposition. But didn't miss any tackles. Scored a try, set one up. I thought good signs.
It's fair enough, that. And let's be honest, I've seen some people complain or whatever. I don't really think we dove into it. We've signed a winger. Like, playing wing on rugby union is not that much different to playing wing in rugby league. We're not talking...
If he was coming in the middle, I'd be annoyed.
Yeah. And if it works, then we've got a very good winger for 6 months. If it don't work, it's cost us nothing on the cap.
Yeah.
And we just move on.
And I tell you what, more people are watching Wigan games when he makes his debut.
Oh, yeah.
And more
We
people
will make Sky Sports News.
More people
Matthew
are talking
Wade.
about it. Yeah. But we won't make Sky. Stop calling him
I
Matthew
know, I
Wade.
can't help it now. It's
That is a cross-code athlete. If we'd signed the Australian opening batsman and wicketkeeper Matthew Wade, and he's lining up next to James Wade, the darts player.
James, the machine, James Wade next. Left-handed darts throw.
Wade Barrett, you could have her.
Are we just naming as many Wades
We
as
name
possible?
him Sporting Wades.
So,
Yeah, a lot of Wades. And a good performance from Wade in this game.
yeah. Good sense. Lewis, you've been having a look as you do every week and keeping a track of the news. What's going on?
I have been scouring the news of rugby league. Signing news: Dion Cross signs for Saints from Salford. Obviously, Salford still got the issues going on.
I'm going to say 3 months they've not been paid on time. They got paid early this time.
We got paid early, a full week and a day early.
They got paid early. Very nice. So he's going there. All right, sign, I think.
Yeah.
Struggling for backline players at the minute.
Yeah.
Whitley's had to play centre for.
Makes
They've
them
had a
better
couple of people
immediately,
filling on wing and whatever.
Makes
So
them better.
at least they've got an out-and-out centre winger type player. So all right for them.
Are we mentioning it? The money.
Well, the money...
This hasn't gone down well, has it?
No.
Not particularly not with Salford, because they feel like this is a bit underhand, the way this has come about. It's not the way that Sneed and Singleton... Allenride? Did he leave? Someone paid
I
money
think
for
Allenride's still there.
No one paid for Allenride.
Sneed went, Singleton went. Obviously, Laffey went home, didn't he?
Yeah.
Somebody
Somebody paid money for... Oh, Carl Watkins.
Watkins.
Somebody
Leeds,
paid money
yeah,
for Carl
Leeds
Watkins, didn't they?
Leeds got Watkins back.
My issue is with this, he wasn't playing because they had him outside of the cap, didn't they? They could have brought him in, but the way that the cap was looking at the time, he hasn't.
I can't remember.
I don't think he's played a game for them, has he?
I can't remember.
And then this is coming through that he wants to leave and go to Saints. He's a Saints lad, isn't he, Dion Cross?
Yes, he is, yeah.
And he wanted to go to Saints. So he doesn't want to play, not knowing he's going to get not paid. He doesn't want to play if he doesn't know he's going to get paid. And then you come into the conversation about insurance, and is he insured in case he gets injured? So if he plays and then doesn't get paid, snaps his knee, and then Saints say, well, we don't want you now, unfortunately.
Yeah, so it's a tough situation for Dion Cross to be in. I think St Helens were probably waiting for Salford to go pop, and they could get Dion Cross for free.
I don't know if funny. I heard a rumour of how much they were asking for. Was it 200 grand?
That's what I heard.
Would you pay 200 grand? Like,
Well, the Leeds paid 250 for Watkins, and they've only got until the end of the year. Cross is till the end of 2027.
yeah, but the length of contract doesn't really matter, does it? Because that's down to the player themselves.
Well, only if he's going to. Well, only if he wants to stay at your club. Watkins obviously doesn't. I wouldn't pay 250 grand for Callum Watkins if I was only getting him for 6 months.
Yeah.
That's my point. If I'm doing Mark Sneed, I'm paying 750 for Mark Sneed or whatever they pay for Sneed. I'm getting him on multi-year deal, whatever.
Yeah.
If I'm
A
going
player that you need.
if I'm going to get Dion Cross and he wants to come to my team and he wants to stay for 3 years and the wages are right and it all fits nicely, yeah, I probably would pay 200 grand for him. I think that's a good deal.
It's a lot of money, that, though.
I think that's a good deal. He's a good player. You get him for 3 years. He wants to be at your team. He makes your team immediately better.
I think it's an awful lot of money when Wigan... What was Wigan paid for Dupree? 175.
Yeah, but he made our team better, didn't
No, but what I'm saying is it's an awful lot of money for Dion Cross.
he? Yeah, maybe.
For a team that have got no money, and then you're trying to hold teams to ransom for 200 grand.
Well, maybe you should have offered 150 then.
They might have, we don't know. But I just think Saints were never going to pay 200 grand.
No.
Especially if he's probably not even getting paid that.
No, he won't be getting.
Exactly how much is he going to get paid there?
No, he won't be getting 200 grand. I don't think.
I just don't think Salford were ever going to get that money for him. Maybe not the nicest thing to go and get him deregistered though.
Yeah, weird way to go about it.
Well, they try to get him on the cheap, typical Scousers. Right, next. Next point.
All right, Lewis.
Morgan Gannon.
Where'd that come from?
Morgan Gannon, Leeds player. We've got another English lad heading down to the NRL. He has signed for the New Zealand Warriors. This has been rumoured for a while,
I hope he smashes
but I
it.
believe it's been confirmed by the NRL website.
Yeah, the
Going
NRL
on Jonathan Foster.
The NRL website.
Their website.
Yeah, I hope he absolutely smashes it.
I want all English lads to go down there and smash
Especially
it,
especially when the team's fans turn on them when they decide they want to leave and explore their options at the end of the contract.
They're not happy, are they? Because
He got injured and they kept him on.
but he had a couple of bad concussions, didn't he? And they stuck by him and whatever, and then rehabbed him. And then after one season, he's sort of gone. Maybe that's where you should got to be clever and say, "Listen, we're going to rehab you. Can we extend your contract for 2 years?"
His contract's up.
Yeah.
He's allowed to. He's not breaking his contract.
Yeah, I think Leeds have got to be clever.
Like, dare I say it, Callum Watkins.
I think Leeds have got to be cleverer there and say, listen, we're rehabbing you, we're putting you through all this, we're going to announce you let's sign you for another 2 years. And then you come back brilliant, we get 2 good years out of you.
I don't think Leeds wanted to take that risk when he was injured. So there you go, serves him right. He's going to the New Zealand Warriors. I hope he smashes it.
Yeah.
And I hope he comes back and plays for England through the middle, whatever.
Yeah. You do. You always hope the English lads go well, don't they?
Nicholson's flying, by the way. It wasn't in my eye catchers, but Nicholson scored again.
Yeah,
He's now got as many NRL tries as Tristan Saylor. Yeah, and he's 19, and Tristan Saylor's 26. I'm saying.
Last little bit of kind of not signing but contract news, I suppose. Bentley extends for 2 years at Leeds.
So this was almost immediately after.
This was just like a no-brainer once you're losing Thingy Gannon.
Yeah, Bentley signed
for
up.
2 more years, yeah.
Get him signed up for a bit. Injury news. Jason Gary, so good they named him twice, out for 4 months.
Yeah, that's a shame.
At Cass, which is a shame actually. He's
shame.
quite a good player. He seems to be a bit injury.
He's
Busy.
had a
He
few
can't
bad
really catch a
injuries,
break.
yeah.
Can
He's had
he?
some
Can
bad
he, Gary?
injuries there. I feel bad for him. 4 months is a long time as well.
Yeah.
He needs
4 months now's a bad time.
He needs surgery on his
Well,
hamstring. That's like
I
a
don't
J
think you do
Field
that.
injury.
I
That.
don't know if you do that in February. You might be back in July. 4 months now. He comes back end of August, start of September. 4 weeks left if you're not going to make playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Basically, write your season off, innit?
Pretty much. Come back stronger next year, hopefully.
Yeah. And then, pardon me, Warrington Wolves. A couple of injuries. Obviously, Sneed was the one I've kind of picked out, but that just
Yeah.
adds on to
Fractured eye socket.
many of the problems with injuries at the minute. That is pretty much the half-back partner, right?
Yeah.
With Williams and Sneed being out.
So Sneed, how long do you reckon he'll be out for?
They said 4 weeks.
Fractured eye socket, that I'd be out for, well, the rest of my life. I wouldn't play again.
It's,
Fractured
one
eye
of-
socket.
it's not something that you hear a lot, is it? So you're not
No,
sort of
no.
certain. And the big one of eye socket was Burgess when he did a grand final and
was
we lost
cheap.
it off.
Cheap ball and that, wasn't it?
They're not going to his eye though. Was that
It
not?
might have done affected his vision, but I think it was broken cheekbone. I've not heard of many fractured eye sockets. It just sounds gross, doesn't it?
Yeah, you often hear cheekbone, but
It was great until Burgess' face looked like a dropped pie. Because he told him he should go off.
Yeah.
Go off, Sam, your face is a mess. Shut up, James. Shut up, Burgess. Your face looks like a dropped pie.
I love that. They're trying to be nice to you, mate. And then
I know,
rip it.
England
And then he
team,
rips
mate.
into him.
Grand final, Sam, you need to go off, mate, and get the into your face is a mess. Tells him F off, so Graham says, shut up, your face looks like a dropped pie. I love it. Second to last bit of news. Not a laughing matter, this one, it's quite weird. Catalans have been kicked out of the Wheelchair Challenge Cup competition and they've won it the last 2
Yeah.
times.
And they were going to play in the quarter final in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
This has come from French Rugby Union, from French Wheelchair Rugby, hasn't it? More than
It's almost been
yeah.
done as like a punishment, it seems like.
They've punished Catalans for something that
France international team. So France international said they're not playing England until the World Cup. They're not going to compete in any international games, and they took it upon themselves, the organisation, to punish that by kicking Catalans out of
Doesn't make sense to me.
competition.
I don't like that at all.
No, it's a bit. Seems like a bit petty, doesn't it? Really? Like, oh, you're not going to play us then? Well, I'll tell you
So
what.
funny. That's
Say
very
bye bye to
That
Catalans.
sounds like a amateur club that are hosting their own like mini.
It sounds like you're on
It's
the
a very
playground.
David Brent thing to do, isn't it?
Can you
know?
play against me this year? No, I don't really want to. Oh, well,
We're not playing against you.
well, we're not going to let your team play in our competition then.
I don't like this.
No, why? Two
make
teams have to decide if they want to play friendly. Don't they? You can't just make somebody play friendly against you.
Why make your own competition worse by removing one of the best teams?
The holders, they're the holders, and they're in the quarter final 2 weeks against Halifax.
It's just going to taint now, though, isn't it? Like, the team who does go on to win that Challenge Cup competition eventually, it's always going on us, yeah, we didn't have Catalan,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you got really, it was like a cheat year, or,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You got out.
The asterisks.
Yeah, that's it, and it's going to put a shame on them, really, so that's bad. And last piece of news, looking forward to this weekend coming up, Magic Weekend tickets. Rumours are, attendance is meant to be quite good. Hull FC currently stand as the club who has got the most amount of tickets for Magic Weekend.
Are they
Wigan Warriors sitting third.
Are they the closest Hull? to
I
Newcastle?
would guess so, it'd be
Yeah.
north east, wouldn't it? Because York,
Yeah.
or east.
It might be
most part of
close between
Yorkshire,
them
isn't it?
and like the other teams that are in Yorkshire, West Yorkshire.
Yeah.
But
Hull
no.
always travel well though. Fan bases always travels well.
Yeah.
Magic Weekend has often been Hull fans going, the most Hull fans going.
Wigan sit third. Wakefield fourth. Obviously, their fans loving the fact they're back in Super League. They can take part in Magic Weekend. They're going to have to have a year off last
Yeah,
year. So
I suppose.
their fans have took the most to go get some tickets and take part in Magic Weekend.
And Castleford against No, who was the Castleford against?
Wakefield.
Oh, Castleford against Wakefield.
At Magic.
That's the
It's the derby, isn't it? For
that's
them?
the
It's
Flamingo Land sponsored fixture.
Flamingo Land sponsored fixture.
Yeah.
Is that because they're both in bright pink kits?
Maybe I know there is definitely at least one bright pink kit there.
While we talk about kits,
It is also in Yorkshire, Flamingo Land. What?
while we talk about kits, Magic, sorry,
Oh, Hull KR and Salford both wearing exactly the same kit for
that's
the photo
awful.
shoot, and they're playing against each other.
That is awful.
Hull KR will be in the PSG kit. I bet.
There was a clash this round. We're going to do around the grounds in a minute. Was it Huddersfield and...
Pink against purple.
Oh, yeah. Was it Huddersfield and...
Cass,
I was
Huddersfield and
thinking
Cass.
Huddersfield and Cass, and that was a bit of a clash. I thought, who's put those kids
That was
together?
definitely a clash. That one.
But yeah, so hopefully Magic Weekend will be a well-attended event, and it'll be
Yeah.
a good weekend of rugby league for us. And we'll go from there. It's a shame, again, some teams have kind of... Hull KR are due to play Salford, which would have been a very competitive game last
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
Obviously, Salford having the difficulties now, that probably might not be as competitive as it was, or you're not thinking it's going to be. Hopefully, Salford can turn around and make it competitive.
It's always tough. It's always tough with the fixtures, isn't it? Like some teams get to play the bad teams 3 times, and some teams only get to play them twice.
Wakefield Castle will be good because it's a derby. Obviously,
Yeah.
Wigan and Wire. We've got Leeds and Saints. So there's a couple
Yeah,
of
that
juicy
makes
fixtures in there that
games.
weekend. That'll make it good.
Who's Catalans against?
Lee, possibly?
Yeah, Catalans against
Yeah.
whoever finished 5th. That's Lee.
Lee.
Yeah, Catalans against Lee. I'm
Very good
intrigued
game.
for that. I'm intrigued with that one.
Then who's the game we're missing then? Huddersfield and Hull.
Huddersfield
That's it.
and Hull FC.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'll be the last one. So yeah, hopefully it should be a good weekend of rugby.
So Hull FC have got 2 points then.
Well, both Hull teams have got 2 points. No wonder they've travelled so well. They played Huddersfield. They're really going to win.
Have a good weekend.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll go around the grounds, lads. So this week, Super League kicked off Thursday. Warrington St Helens, 32 points to 18. Warrington win. Winning 16-14 at half-time, really close, and Warrington probably the better side in the second half. A tales of two sides that are a bit up and down, really, a bit struggling.
Well, Saints, it was a similar script to when they played us. They just couldn't keep hold of the ball, could they?
No?
Rollins mentioned it
Bar of
after.
soap. Also, these two teams both decided defence was optional for some
yeah.
of these tries.
Yeah.
There was that, yeah. But I think, again, listening to Alan speak after the full time, he made reference to the fact that, he's been working in Breeze, he's been doing fantastic work with the attack as the attacking coach, but can't get there if you can't keep hold of the ball. It's as simple as that.
There's weird things for me, right? The Saints we've known for the last 4 or 5 years under Wolf, and then the early parts of Wellens has been a side that would beat you down the middle and then barge you over, crash over, do whatever they needed to. You then suddenly just can't decide you're going to offload. You can't just decide that you're going to offload out of nowhere and do it in your own 10-metre line. There was a couple of offloads earlier. I think one was from Siren that Walmsley knocked on.
daft one.
That Walmsley knocked on. And there was one that I don't think they knocked on, but they didn't really get good position from. And you go, you can't be no offloads and we'll bully you to that. You start offloading in good ball. To get used to doing it, you can't just become that side overnight. And we talk about the changes that they've made.
Yeah, they've made changes.
They've not worked, have they?
No.
Sailor to fullback hasn't worked. Wellesby's not working at 6.
There was another one as well. Sambi went to centre, and for the first try, he got stood up by King, and I felt a bit sorry for him, really, because it's like, as far as I know, he's a winger. He's played wing, then they've kind of put him in at centre against Toby King. He's an international centre.
yes.
On a scrum player, one-on-one, you're going to expect him to go over. He's still a kid, that Sambi. Do you expect him to tackle Toby King from 10 metres? I don't want to
Remember
tackle
he
a
did
scrum
it Good
player.
Friday, though. He was on the bench. They brought him on the wing when Benison went off for HIA, and then moved him to centre for the last 10 minutes when Whitley went to second row. You're not setting him up for success, are you?
No.
And Whitby, I look at Whitby. I really like the young lad. I think he's going to be a good player. But you
He needs a rest though now, or else he's going to go Harry Smith under Adrian Lamb.
Yeah.
He's going to get burnt
I
out.
was thinking that.
and then it
gonna
doesn't
get
matter
burnt
how
out.
good you do because people just remember that time.
Yeah. Which is still what Harry gets
But
sometimes.
he's a good player, that Whitby. I think he's going to be a good one. So
Yeah, I
they need
agree.
to take him out now and stop him getting burned out.
But we'll talk about making the tough decisions. He dropped Lomax. He then trained and became 18th man. if he plays this week, it's the exact same path that Lewis Dodd did this time last year against us at Good Friday.
It's very
Was it Good Friday when he
strange.
dropped him?
I think it was later on in the season, when it was towards the end of the season.
It
I
wasn't
think.
Good Friday.
He started doing it.
Yeah,
But
since Good Friday last year, now this is 0 out of 14 wins against Wigan, Warrington and Hull KR. 0 finals made out of 5 and counting. And in those 15 games against the so-called big teams, because they are, the big three from last year, they've only got 20 points twice. And one of them was 20 against Hull KR away, and one of them was 22 in the playoff game against Warrington. How many points do you need to win a game? 4 scores usually.
4 score. If you get 24 points, you should be within it.
They've
they
not
won
reached 24 points any of those 15 games.
But under Wolf, it was always, we'll win this game 14-6. We'll get a couple of tries and you can't get in good ball. We'll defend you out the game. Very winning machine. They're not winning field position. They're not winning all that. And they haven't got the attack to score from deep.
Wellham's also made reference, and I do agree with him with this, that they're not really playing as a team at the minute. There's individuals trying to solve problems that aren't there. Easy to pick on him, but like Percival shooting out line, trying to put a shot on when there's no need to, missing a tackle, and then blow, makes another 5 metres, falls on his front and gets a quick play of the ball. It's like you're trying to solve an issue that's not there. What are you doing?
But you do that when you're under pressure. You do that when people are questioning you. When you don't trust your outside man.
Trust your wing man, yeah.
I look at it and...
Interesting.
We talked about Wellingham in the poison chalice, didn't we? Taking over from Wolf. That's what we're seeing now.
He needs to. It sounds obvious, but he needs to win a big game against one of those 3 clubs. Mate, he's just riled off, doesn't he?
Yeah.
They don't play him for another 7 or 8 weeks.
I know this is the thing, but that's what's going to.
So what
Did
happened?
they play Magic? Sorry.
Leeds.
Yeah, Leeds. What happens if they win the next 7 games against these?
The next 4 games are Leeds, Catalan, Huddersfield, then KR at KR.
Also, they have got KR in that. I didn't realise that.
They might walk away with 2 points though.
Well, if they do,
He might get sacked.
then he'll be sacked. Yeah.
Warrington, a couple of big injuries for them.
Yeah, good win, but at what cost?
Ashton HIA is a big loss.
Well, that happens. That can happen.
happens.
It can happen to anyone.
The Sneed injury
The Sneed
now.
one's the big one. Yeah.
But Burgess is going to take some pressure here because he re-signed Ratchford. He signed the young
Leyland.
halfback Leyland. Is Leon Hayes back?
I don't think he's quite
he's
ready.
back, yeah.
It's not far off, but he's not quite ready.
But in the past few weeks, he's not used them options that he's re-signed and signed.
He's used Danny Walker and Ben Curry in the house.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting to see who he picks. I think he's going to have to pick Ratchford.
Well, they'll have to pick one of them too.
And he can't even play Dufty there because the young full-back's injured.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really interesting what Burgess does.
Not bad, that young fullback, Taylor Ray.
No, I like him.
Not bad in him. You know, when they put was Dufty injured or they put Dufty at 6 or something at some point last year? I thought he looked quite good.
Right, let's move over to Friday. Leeds, Hull KR. Weird game, this. Obviously, Jackson Field, yellow card.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Shoulders to the head. Didn't really make a lot of arm wrap. Not the most aggressive tackle. Was falling a little bit. I think that's probably fair.
Fine with that being a yellow card.
Yeah,
fine with that being a yellow card this season.
Could you point out Broadbent scored while Leeds were down to 10.
I've never seen a team be down to 10 men.
So Sinfield was sin-binned. Connor then got sent for a green card because he dislocated his finger.
Gross.
And the tackle before, Ryan
on his
Hall
ankle.
goes down with an ankle injury. Hulkar did the right thing, listen.
Oh, yeah, scored try.
Yeah. Make your passes out wide and whatever. And Leeds,
13 on 10, you should score,
to be
really.
fair, Leeds did the right thing, trying to make him score in the corner.
Yeah.
Some good play. Ash Hanley with a nice try from a corner kick. But we have got to talk about the two big
really
talking
nice try, that Hanley one.
We've got to talk about the 2 big talking points. Suasasu, red card.
Yep.
Now, weird for a big man. He was almost in a full-back position, a little bit behind the line, because he was still getting back onside as the defensive line had pushed up. Getting tackled from behind, I think it was Minchella.
I think it was, yeah.
And he's been red carded, even though there was, I'm going to try and remember the exact words, there was mitigation that he was falling,
Yeah.
but there was an aggravating factor that it was aggressive and...
Because it was so low, Kendall didn't see it as an appropriate tackle attempt.
Did you think he was respectful to the referee?
Yeah, he called him sir, didn't he? He said he's falling, sir. He's down there.
I thought he tried to put his point across well.
I think it's I think it's the wrong decision. I think everybody knows that. It can never be a red card. And if you're going to say it's a red card because the aggravating factor is, he even said to us, your arm's down there, mate. Well, it will be down there because that's where the person who's tackling is. That's where Lasoni is. He's falling. He's at knee height, so his arm will be low by his side. It's not going to be up here shoulder level if the player's down at his knees.
The only thing was that obviously the way that he comes towards the tackle, it looks a bit reckless.
It does look a bit reckless.
And it looks like it's leading with the shoulder, but his arm's going low. He does sort of catch him with the shoulder. It's a yellow.
He's doing that because the guy's falling. He can't disappear.
It's that movement though with the shoulder.
I don't. You've got people. John Wilkin put this fantastically well at full time. The people who are making these decisions have no practical understanding of the game because they've never been in that position before. They've never tried to tackle a falling player. You can't move out the way. You are a body. You have limbs. You can't just throw yourself wherever. He's gone like that at the side as he's fell and he's gone on top of him.
I mean, funny, Chris Kendall has played in Super League.
His head's
Chris Kendall.
I mean, the people making the rules, he's enforcing the rules being made by someone else.
I don't blame Kendall for enforcing the rule.
For me, it's a yellow.
Yeah, I think all are yellows. I think the one we're about to talk out now is a yellow as well.
It's a yellow. I do think it gives him a chance to send him off, and that's a bit of the problem. We'll go talk about the Ash Hanley one.
The worst tackle of the weekend is not in this game.
No.
And this had all the red cards.
Yeah. Ash Hanley gets a red. Now there was 7 minutes left. How much do you think the fact that the 7 minutes and I've given a red to Hull KR, do you think that plays a factor in it? That he goes, listen, if I give it a red, no one can complain. They both had a red card. Even though whether a yellow or a red doesn't really matter, does it?
The mentality of two wrongs makes a right, essentially.
Effectively, yeah. You can't criticise me because I've sent a player off.
I've been fair because they both got a red card, so therefore two wrongs make a right. Which is not true.
Which is not right, and you should certainly.
I don't think he did that.
I don't.
I think
but
again,
I can understand why
again,
people would think it.
He's playing to the rules.
Do you think this Hanley one's a red card?
No.
I don't,
but I think actually this is more an example of what you've just said. I think Hanley is giving him more of a chance to send him off than actually the Sue one because he's gone in. I mean, Sue, I think it's a complete accident because he's falling. Hanley's hit him late and his shoulder has made contact with the edge, so straight away you've given the ref the option. Do you know what I mean?
You look at the rule book, this could be a red.
I don't think it is. I think it's a yellow, but I think it's stupid of Hanley to give him the option. You don't need the ball's gone. You don't need to do it. And if you are going to hit him, make sure you don't hit him on his head. Hit him on his. That way, it's a late hit. It's a yellow at worst. The fact that you've hit him in the head with the shoulder, you're giving the referee the option to do it. Take away that option and don't hit him in the head. Hit him. If you're going to hit him, it's his chest.
Definitely. So 2 men red carded.
Michael Lewis got the winner, by the way. We've not spoken about that.
No, Michael Lewis, a really good cut-out pass. Finds Broadbent backing up on the inside.
Nice move, this.
I always love big men trying to chase down a little lad who's run away. Palacio just had no chance of catching him.
It was a really spirited effort by Leeds as well. A lot went against him this game, Hall getting injured. Conceding a try when they're down to 10 men.
That's...
And they showed character, they stuck in it, they went down to the wire and it took a little bit of Michael Lewis magic for break him at the end.
Half the teams they do have their bags of character.
Yeah. Should mention, ended up with Batchelor on the wing.
But was that not
scored, didn't it?
No, it ended up for a while because Hiku then went to centre.
Dear me.
On the break that
also
on the first try.
Altamore got 4 headshots on him.
I didn't go for a headshot.
He should just start wearing a medieval knight's helmet because he just gets battered every game. He had the cuss one last week. He had 4 headshots this week.
I'm also going to say, you've seen the bloke and red carded a bloke for headshots that have then been deemed not needing a HIA. Well, I know it's not an immediate correlation, but you're sort of looking at it going, it can't be that forceful.
You could break my nose with a tackle and my brain would be fine. But you should still get a red card for breaking somebody's nose if you know. When
we see all the HIAs that are being given and checked for high contact and dangerous contact,
I think they're sending more people to be checked. I don't necessarily think there's an increased number of failed HIAs.
I just can't believe
an increased number in past HIAs.
I just can't believe he wasn't checked.
That's why I think we should up the sub. Put 5 people on the bench.
No, definitely. Right, next game. Hull KR win. Big 2 points for them. Saturday. We'll start off at Huddersfield.
Oh.
Sorry.
Do we have to?
Yeah. Castleford win. 32 points to 12.
This was your kit clash, Lewis.
Yeah.
Pink against purple.
Yeah. I'm going to say my favourite moment of this match, Sam Hewitt.
The final whistle.
Well, yeah. That didn't come quick enough, though. Sam Hewitt taking a dive off the ref
Yeah.
with a little hand to the face was a interesting tactic.
Well,
trying to get a
there was head contact and he made no attempt to wrap.
Marcus Griffiths has been banned for 3
No mitigation.
He's got 3 match penalty points. or
Yeah,
whatever
should
they're
get
doing,
3 penalty points. There was no mitigation at all. Though.
Imagine if they sent Hewitt for a HIA on that. You'd be fuming, wouldn't you? Is there any relief for Huddersfield in the foreseeable future?
What, they've got Castleford at home, you mean, and not look like winning the game at all?
Yeah, they lost to Salford.
Yeah.
Do you realise how bad you have to be to lose to Salford at the moment?
Mm.
And the next set of games are Hull and Hull KR.
Yeah.
That's just not a nice time to be a Huddersfield.
Well, if you were thinking, what game are you going to win, Huddersfield? Castle at home, maybe.
Yeah,
and then
Castle
every-
home and then hope something happens at Magic. You could win 2 games.
They were never in the game, though.
No.
They were never in this game against Cass. Not really.
Scored first. And even then they didn't look the best team.
Did he score first, or was it? It was
Yeah,
level. No, it was
no,
level,
no.
wasn't it? It's seen you not score first.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Flanagan converted to make it 6-4.
Right, so you were 6-4 up. We still don't think they won win.
No. We're going to move on from that.
Yeah.
Catalans Wakefield. Catalans win in extra time. 24
game,
points
Yeah,
to
it's
20.
good game.
Great
this.
game. This one was a fantastic game. A fantastic advert for rugby league.
Yeah. Was it 3 cards in this game?
Yeah.
Lino.
Lino with the worst tackle
Kiri.
of the weekend.
Lino.
Kiri got a yellow card.
Kiri, that was a bad one as well.
Vagana. Is it Vagana? The prop for Wakefield?
Yeah.
He got a yellow.
Yeah, Vanganer, I think you say.
Oh, Vanganer, sorry.
So sure. That was
Why
for
did he
a,
get
was
the-
that for a crusher tackle on Partington?
Yes.
I think it was for a crusher.
Yeah, Partington holding his neck. What did Kiri do? I can't remember what Kiri did.
Kiri
Smacked him when he
smacked
caught
someone. You can see Rick Caps.
Winning a caught ball and he come in and
Josh Rowe
decapitated
caught
him.
it and he smacked him in the head.
Yeah.
That was a yellow card, that.
Yeah.
Lino's looks bad. Looks bad, doesn't it?
Lino's looks really bad because he's on the way up. He's hit him on the way up. You know, like when you see him, they
Well,
catch
there's no
the chin on the way
mitigation.
down. You know, like we're swinging down and they catch you on the chin as it's going down across the chest. This one's shoulder and it's going up. He's like hit up on the ball. That's really naff.
I don't want to spend 20 minutes talking about this because I'll end up boring the listeners to death, but it's probably something, I don't know, they might be interested in hearing our opinions on. My thing with all this is 2 things. One, I said a couple of weeks ago and it still stands because I saw it again this week during multiple games across the weekend. They now are just using the phrase mitigation but not explaining what it is. Sorry, a couple of different sites this weekend where they're saying, right, it is direct to the head, but there is mitigation, you're off for 10. And I'm like, well, what was the mitigation? Because he said that in the Lino one, there's mitigation. I didn't see what mitigation in the Lino one.
No.
He just looked like he smacked him in the head. So they're just saying that as a get out of jail free. I think it's a yellow. I don't know. I'm just going to go and say there's mitigation. That seems weird because they've always explained it.
Can I
And for
just
some reason this
say that as
season
well?
they're not doing.
They're now saying, what was it,
It doesn't meet the
Threshold.
high level threshold.
Threshold.
What does high level threshold mean?
I think he said that for Kieran, it doesn't meet the high level threshold.
Because he used to say like high level force or low level force, didn't he? And if it was low level force, it was a sin, but if it was high level force direct to the head, it was a sin.
Unless there was
Yeah,
mitigation.
Unless there was mitigation. But this is the thing that we're worried about now, which is going to bring me on to my second point. I think we're in a state now where I can tell you right now, I don't know, and I don't actually think the referees, the AFL know, if you hit someone in the head, when's it a penalty, when's it a yellow, and when's it a red? Because at the minute, you may as well, I think John Wilkins said this again, he got it spot on,
That's
play
twice
a video
for
ref,
Wilkin.
and that's bad. But twice you should play, what did they call it, the video ref roulette. Just spin the wheel, see what it lands on, we'll give a penalty this time, we'll give a yellow for that. That's the same offence as that one, but we'll give that one a red. Like,
I'm
there's
going
all
to say
sorts
something.
going on.
I rang you Saturday morning,
Yeah, it was across the weekend, one of the days, can't remember now.
and we talk about consistency, and it's my biggest bugbear. We are now less consistent with decisions in the aim of being consistent. 10, 15 years ago, you just used to judge it. And you go, well, he's give a yellow, but it probably could have been a red. Oh, he's give a red, I thought it was a yellow. He's hit him high. Yeah, he's give a penalty. But we weren't looking at it thinking this is just the wrong call. we're now looking for mitigation where there's not mitigation. We're saying things that just are wrong. And not even getting right decisions.
And I'm not against having a standardised method so the referees can be consistent and go, right, work through the processes. He's hit him in the head, I've got to decide, is it low or high level force? It's high level force, that's a red card. What's the next step? Looking at if there's mitigation. He is for, there's mitigation, it's a sin bin. There's no mitigation. I'm happy for them to do that, so it's a standardised, which should lead to, like you're saying, more consistency. But the problem is, that isn't happening. We're seeing, there's mitigation, he's falling, but it's a red. What? Do you know what I mean? Like, why are we not using...
Or there's mitigation, it's a yellow. What
mitigation, exactly. So this isn't... They've got these processes to try and be standardised across the different games to make the reffing more consistent, but it's not working because they're just not using it correctly. It looks like from an outsider looking in.
Would you not also think there's more to it than just the tick boxes? Look at the Lino one. The guy stood up and he still managed to hit him in the head.
Yeah.
That's reckless.
Yep.
You've got to judge it. You've got to look at it. If you see someone who comes in from 5 yards away and nails him, you know there's intent there. He's tried to do him.
But even with me, Jukesy, I know what you said, the tick boxes though to me would still indicate that's a red card. So I can't understand why he's given a yellow. He's given a yellow because apparently there's mitigation. But going back to the other point, because he's not explained what the mitigation is, I've no idea what he's thinking.
I was expecting that to be a red
Because I've gone, if that's me, again, going through my tick boxes, my processes, it's high level force, it's direct contact to the head, there's no mitigation, it's a red card. But he's gone, there's mitigation, so it brings it down to a yellow, 10 minutes off.
And I'm not for 1 second suggesting that they're making up the fact that there's mitigation. I'm sure there is, but we'd like to know what it is.
Yeah, so we can understand why the decision, even if I don't agree with the decision. There's plenty of times we've said on this podcast, I'm happy for that to be a penalty, but I get in today's game why it's a yellow. I don't agree with it, but I can understand it based off the rules we've got today. Like, I'm fine with that. I just want to understand why the decision's been given. And
Why are we drawing the line there?
Yeah, and I can't at the minute, because, like, again, we're just playing video ref.
Ref chat's boring though, isn't it? Let's leave that alone. Guillermo Aspiro Biche. Is that how you say his name?
The new fullback.
He played well. He kicked a goal from the touchline for them to go in front. Max Jowett equalised. There was a stupid penalty. I think someone gave away a stupid penalty right under the sticks and where he got to. And then Remus Smith scored in extra time.
Yeah.
And this game featured our Monster Man of the Week.
Yeah,
or
the
Monster,
Monster,
what do you call it?
Monster Big Man of the Week.
Monster.
To be honest, we could have given this to Wakefield's entire front row, even though they lost.
Yeah.
For their offloading game and their...
Well, they scored two off.
Try the week.
Well,
Try the week
well
was
that one,
Wakefield.
yeah, where Griffin scored. But then Griffin set up a try in the first half with an offload.
Nice little silk kick, one-handed
Yeah,
offload
it was
to, I can't remember if it was two.
Punching a hole and then putting a...
Was it Joey? I think it was Joey who scored it, didn't it?
Liam Hood might have scored.
Oh no, sorry, it was Hood. Joey scored the other one. But yeah, it was a fantastic. Yeah, so
Josh Griffin's the man of the week, the big man of the week.
Monster Big Man of the Week.
Yeah,
not sponsored by Monster.
And we kind of cursed Jack Ashworth last week because he didn't have a great game against us.
No.
So watch out to see if Josh Griffin follows suit. Hopefully he won't.
Yeah. Right. Next game to look at is Salford Lee. It was exactly the same time, wasn't it? Or, yeah, it was. They were both at 5:30, these two.
No, they were.
Was this one both at the same time?
They were at the same time. Because I chose to watch the Catalans match.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people did.
Yeah.
But why are we needlessly clashing them?
This could have played 12 o'clock on Sunday.
Or
5 o'clock on Sunday.
Or 8 PM Saturday.
Yeah.
Whatever, you know. Two local teams.
Lee win 28 points to 6. I have just had a look at Salford's upcoming fixtures and they only play Huddersfield on the second to last week.
Oh no.
They don't play Castleford again for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, 3 weeks they played Castleford.
That's not that long.
And then, again towards the end of the season, they might not win a game again until they play Huddersfield. Lee, 2 points. Just need to get them, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couple of players back for them. Was Charlie back in his second game?
I think so, yeah.
Couple of things like that.
There was a lad called Andrew Badrock. I've not seen him before.
No, he's a young lad they brought in.
AJ Towse from York scored on this game as well. So they're using
McNamara got some minutes.
So they're using their squad. They used their squad in this game.
Yeah, as you should. Listen, they get a good game next week and then a week off. Oh, no. They're into the semis.
They're into the semis,
Yeah,
yeah.
so-
They'll play Warrington.
Setting up for the semi-final, sorry.
And their match is against Catalans at Magic, is it?
Sure, we had that conversation
Yes.
before. Yes,
Yeah,
Leah playing against Catalan.
Yeah, so they've had almost a perfect setup there. A couple of players got some rests.
But they need to have a strong squad against Catalan, and then
Minutes in the bank.
Got Warrington in the cup. So the next 2 matches are
That'll be a tasty game in Catalan next week.
Yeah.
Magic, won't it?
Right, that wraps up Super League. 6 games. Quite a few good games, really. Not any that are switched off, really.
well. You didn't switch off from any of these games.
Well, I didn't watch Lee Salford.
Oh God, so spilled.
And I watched that it was 6-4 and then I got a little bit bored.
Yeah.
They're interesting while I watched that game.
I'm glad that every rugby league game is on TV now. But they could have been in the collective bargaining agreement that there's a bit of an asterisk in there for if Huddersfield ever play Cass.
Just not put that one on.
Put it on, film it, but just put it on.
Yeah. 3 viewers.
Yeah.
Right. Lads, thank you for joining us. It's been another good episode.
No problem. What a good Easter period for us.
Oh yeah.
Really good Easter period. Hopefully we get to see some more Magic at Magic.
Mm.
And then we get a nice little week off, really. We can relax with 4 wins from 4. That'd be the perfect
That would be nice.
month. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week.